trying to find your mail with your link.
HAMTAGery, we are in. Woo! What do you say, Judd? What do you say?
Hey!
Very eloquent. Very eloquent.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get in, we will, of course, be setting the stage with TV shows first. We'll do that in a little bit. From the year 2000 to 2009. Yes, I said in the year 2000. And I say that, and someone already put in a comment, well, what, 2000 to present or something? I'm like, yeah, I know it'd be better accurate to say 2000 to 2009. But I like putting in the year 2000. I'm not going high enough, am I?
No.
So let's see. It was Dave Doge that said all 19 plus years or just 2000 to 2010. And it's only 2000 to 2009. I would call it the aughts as 010009, but I wanted to again say in the year 2000.
Chrono 77, what scale? Solitaire, 2-player, big, small, easy, short?
War games, everything. Whatever.
No, he said, is there? I was hoping to get a Pacific War suggestion.
Oh, sorry, I haven't rolled down. I was looking at Chrono 77 is in. Matt Curiosities is in. It jumped on me. Charles Latorra is in. Sub Commandant 73. Nathaniel Robinson. Ron Nicholson. Aughts or ought not? I like that, Ron. That's perfect. We have 12 eyeballs. That'll probably grow to 50 or 50 plus.
We did one, all three of us, back in like 2010 to 2017 or something. And I personally don't really have enough in those last 2 years to probably alter my list at all.
Nope. So we'll let that stand. That was what started this whole thing. So again, for those that aren't tuning in live, this will go up on record. We're going to set the stage with movies from the year 2000 to 2009. We're going to begin with TV shows that start from that same period in time. And then we're going to cover what the fans listed as their top fives from this area. Of course, if you're looking, we did ours last week live. We're still doing them live. We may do some. I still like having Judd on set. Our quality is a little better. Yes, I've got to edit it, but I can kind of get ahead of things. But I got to admit, I kind of like lives too. What do you think, Judd?
I like it because when I come over and we film 3, my Saturday's gone. I get home at 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
and then I still got to mow. I got to shop. I cook up a week of food. On that weekend in church, like bam, there went my weekend, and I'm back to work on Monday through Friday. So I kind of like just pop down, do my hour, and got the rest of Saturday.
I totally get that too. So we'll say I wish the 1080p was the quality here instead of 730. It is very convenient, and it's nice having the live comments coming in, and it's been working well. So maybe when you come over, we'll just film a couple, and we can intermix them back and forth. JD says live shows are awesome, and I'm going to show his little comment there. And I'll try not to show comments too much.
It's usually when I'm covering my games. That's when it's kind of like I start reading. It's like something will catch my eyes. Like that's awesome. I need to remember that. And all of a sudden I realize I went off on a thought tangent.
Yeah, I get all excited and I start flipping them up there so people see their stuff. And I did the same thing when I had. Gregory Smith on. Was it Gregory Smith? Yeah, I think so. And it distracted him as well, so I got to quit doing that.
Chronos. I've never played Pacific Tide. Pacific War is good. Asia Engulfed is better if it can fit in your price range and all that. Answer that question.
Got it. Well, Judd, kick us off with the TV shows from the aughts.
TV shows. First, I got to give a shout out to my man Ken Burns. And when we did the 90s, somebody said baseball, and I thought that was made in the 80s. I just finished watching it. No, it was made it was released right after the strike. So yeah, the baseball is all that in a bag of chips. But
it is long.
Ken Burns. A second, let me silence my phone.
Yeah, your tricorder's going on.
Okay.
Or your communicator. Sorry.
Ken Burns, got to give a shout out to my man Jazz. Woo! That was an awesome one. And
I think that's the one I haven't watched.
It's good. And the war, World War II. And then I had the carryovers that spilled over into 2 decades, Frasier and Jag. And then Jag's spinoff was pretty good for 7 seasons, NCIS. It jumped a shark hard after 7. And it was the most formulaic show I saw since the Dukes of Hazzard. They bring some guy into question, like, it ain't him, it's too early in the show. But
Hey,
boy, it jumped hard after season 7, man. But
with Ken Burns, have you seen the National Parks one?
Yes.
Unbelievably good.
Yes. The only one I think I haven't seen from him was the brand new one he did on country music. I want to see it, just haven't seen it. And then let's see, do I have it? TV shows. Yeah, okay, I got it. Okay, so then we had the 3 excellent, superior, awesome shows of the decade. I'm going to go from 3, 2, and 1. You'll probably squawk that I put this at 3, but it is
squawking.
But it is the great uncompleted work. Firefly.
Oh, Fox, you killed me on that.
Yes, I would have loved to have seen what he could have done if he'd have fleshed his ideas out. Second favorite show of that decade, Battlestar Galactica, and that I know that finale was very divisive, but I loved it, even better than Babylon 5's. And my favorite show is one you probably hadn't heard of. It was on Showtime for 2 seasons, Jeremiah, written by the guy behind Babylon 5, J. Michael Straczynski, starred Luke Perry and Malcolm Jamal Warner, who you might know, Theo Huxtable. And that thing was incredible. And basically, it's like 15 years after this virus killed everybody on Earth over the age of puberty. And the kids have had to rebuild, and the world's in chaos. But anyways, yeah, I was like, yeah, I probably should have plopped that in these last 2 months, but I've been through the show 3 times.
Really? I see. And I love dystopian kind of apocalyptic stuff. Yeah,
man. And it's got a story, individual stories with a big theme carrying over, because just like Babylon 5, it's an arcing story. You don't plop in the middle of it. And wow. I mean, he told a story after 2 seasons. He had it wrapped up. And it was amazing. Second best show I ever saw to Babylon 5, period.
Really? And now I've got to go look. I've not seen that. That's rare that there's something I haven't seen.
And they finally put the 2nd season out a few years ago on DVD. I had another copy, let's just say, from a buddy. But I wrote and begged the company, please put this out or give me your blessing to bootleg this thing. So they finally put it out. Boom, grabbed it. So it's like, I want to give you my money. Please take it. And perfect. Wow, it's all that in a bag of chips.
I will look that up. Is that it for your TV shows?
Yep.
Well, of course, I'm going to echo that. I had, of course, Firefly on there. I loved it. I happened to catch it when I didn't catch it when it was new. I caught it on a sci-fi marathon deal, and I popped into just one of them. And I thought, what is this? Westerns in space again with a weird rifle? And then the writing was blowing me away in the dialogue. And I quickly looked it up, and it was like Joss Whedon. Yes. And loved it. And then was devastated when I found out it was canceled. Battlestar Galactica, just like you. The episode of, 33 or something? Every 33 minutes?
Yeah, that's the very first regular episode after the movie. They brought it on.
Boy, that's one of my favorite. The tension that comes across and the fatigue. I just love that episode. The whole series is good. It does get a little, I didn't like it as much when they ended up on Caprica and it was a jail thing and a resistance thing. And I was like, ugh. And then they got finally off planet. And I was like, cool. And
we were on Caprica, and then the Cylons showed up. I looked at my wife and I said, is the show over? Is this the finale?
Yeah,
and
it was weird.
It was weird because one of them, what it ended up being was they showed their show in the summer and the winter, so they wouldn't have to compete with the big shows on the networks. And then they had that writer strike that went on for over a year between in the middle of the last seasons. So that's why they have like 4.0 and 4.5. And man, it was really hard to stay focused on the storylines. And so then when you go back and binge it, it makes perfect sense. But
I wasn't a fan.
Cylons, that was not planned. That was after the trial of Gaius Baltar. They're like, yeah, we need to do something else. We can't end on this. And I thought, when I heard him say that, I was like, dude, you're no JMS, because he would have had this all from the beginning. By the way, my youngest daughter, had the most savage comment about DS9. She said it's Babylon 5 fan fiction.
Oh, Lordy.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah,
But
she's
I
got
am well into season 3. And they had the one where they go back into Spock's Beard universe. That was actually a cool idea.
yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to add in, so those we matched up on. Band of Brothers. Hello, from HBO.
Never saw it. Didn't have HBO.
Oh my goodness. Well, you can go get the DVD sets. It's out on everything, man. I'm surprised they didn't play it over Memorial Day weekend, but unbelievable. The series works. I'd read the book. It's one of the few occasions where the series outweighed Ambrose's book. It just knitted it together so nicely. Go check it out if you want. It is phenomenal. Breaking Bad, another great binge watching show. They did such a good job of taking bad people and making you care about them, and then flipping them from forgetting the character's name, but from the teacher that's got cancer to the young kid that's dealing, and how they flip and the storylines. I mean, how do you make yourself care about guys doing bad things? They do it. On the cool, fun side, The Big Bang Theory. Hilarious.
You know, my sister talked me into watching that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny. The first one's the one where Sheldon can't solve this problem, and he ends up being a waiter and doing all this different stuff. And it's funny because partway through, I answered his question like, well, dude, it's duality here. This is de Broglie's principles. And I told my sister, she just shook her head. Usually those guys are talking about stuff way beyond me, but that one, I got that one. It's like, that was pretty basic physics that he was talking about.
That is perfect. My Name is Earl. Do you remember that?
I remember it, but never saw it.
Oh, it's just so good because it's got that whole trailer trash feel, but basically he's got to go back and right all the wrongs. And so it's got that whole fun angle to it. And I can't remember the actors' names, but they did a great job. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I forget that one.
Oh, I know. I always say it's Seinfeld grown up because you got all that same biting tied in 10 episodes, but with all the language and everything else that's in there.
When I describe that to people, I just tell them, I said, the man picked up a prostitute so that he could get in the diamond lane to get to the Dodgers game on time. I said, that is some comedic genius. Who thinks of these bizarre things?
Yes. And then the one where his dad won't go to the doctor and he has glaucoma. So he decides
same episode.
He's got to go score the marijuana, and then he doesn't know how to leave. And he's asking the guy, do I go this way? And he's like, get out of here. God, it was just hilarious. Unbelievable.
Man, that show's a scream. What's funny was it gave us the Seinfeld finale that Seinfeld failed to deliver.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Monk. I love Monk, just the premise that goes along with Monk and the germophobia stuff where he won't shake hands and he's awkward but he's piecing things together. Not my favorite show, but I love that. I love when something different like that comes out. Even it didn't quite make my list, but Dexter was the same way, where he's adopted by a detective or something who's a cop, and he realizes, hey, this kid's a serial killer, and he decides to give him like a off moral compass, but he should only kill evil people. So he hunts like other serial killers or whatever. And it's like, interesting premise. So, all right, take us.
I forgot one because I don't have it on DVD. I've been watching it on Prime and streaming it because I used to watch sporadic episodes. Excellent show. We're binging now. That's why I haven't watched Voyager, because my wife and I have been binging this one like crazy. Burn Notice.
Oh, yeah.
Man, and that has the best supporting cast I think I've ever seen in a show. I mean, first you got Bruce Campbell, the legend, and what's her name? Gabrielle Anwar and Sharon Glass from Cagney and Lacey. Man, that show is incredible.
It is.
I would have liked to have seen more episodes of House. I only saw like 2 or 3 and was always found him interesting. I liked his little snarkiness to him, but never saw much of it.
I know. And supposedly it keeps getting better and better, but I couldn't get past. I've caught a couple where he's on a cane or he thought he was terminal, but somehow he survives, and I couldn't get back into it.
Okay. I think he is. I don't know. Some hip injury that's lifelong with him, I think is what that was.
Yeah, a lot of pain. He's had an opioid addiction, or I don't know. I just couldn't get back into it. Now, a quick side note before we slide into the actual show. We had someone mention when we were doing music that it took 20 minutes before we even got into the top 5. Yeah, This is a set the stage, meander through the decade a little bit. That's exactly what we're looking for. So just throwing that out there.
We never did our TV.
I know. I'm going into the TV now,
okay.
But I'm letting it know, because what are we at? We're already 15 minutes in. I'm just letting folks know this is a meander. We're not here to timeline. We're not here to hit points. Boom, boom. This is a slow meander through the odds. Go ahead.
TV show, movies. I mean,
movies. Hit it, brother.
Serenity.
Ooh,
the movie, the follow-up tie-up to Firefly. The fans pushed and they got some of their storylines resolved. But for anybody who watches it, there is a disconnect that you say, why is Shepard Book there? Why is Inara not there on the why isn't she on the ship? You need to get this or read it. It's called Serenity, Those Left Behind. It's a graphic novel comic that ties it all together.
Mm-hmm. I
guess it was made first. I got it after the fact.
Yeah, they were putting out, Whedon and his brothers were putting out some of the comics, some of the graphic novels.
2 movies you can plop in anytime. I will always watch, and I've memorized. I mean, this one we quoted all the time. Ocean's 11, one of the few remakes that's better than the original. Not that the original set the bar very high.
I never got into those.
Oh man, and 12, I love 12. 12 is bizarre, but once I wrap my mind around 13, but yeah, my wife and I, we love that. And Miracle, man, Herb's speech puts chills down your spine. And I'm a little weird this way. The Matrix came out in 99. The Matrix Reloaded came out in 2002. I've seen this more than The Matrix. When my daughter was a baby, my wife had she went to bed a lot earlier than I did. If my daughter, I'd sit there and I'd give her bottle of milk and she'd sit there and drink, and we just zoom through all the fight scenes and action scenes on the thing. And then she'd go out for about 30 minutes and she'd give me a solid 7 hours of sleep. And this is at 3 weeks old. So yeah, people are like, I hate you. Your daughter slept through the week night. But yeah, I watched this thing so many times. We actually had a 500 channel 3-month thing from the cable, try it out thing. And one night I was flipping through the channels and I was on HBO Espanol and this was on. And I speak about 20 words of Spanish, and I watched the whole thing because I knew what they were saying, even though I didn't know what they were saying.
I heard they were having a 4th one coming out.
Yeah. And I could go on and on Matrix theories. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there that actually made it all interesting. But anyways, Rules of Engagement, very sweet show if you never saw a courtroom drama. The MCU kicked off that decade, Ironman.
Yeah, that may be on someone else's list.
The Dark Knight, as well as the first Batman. And for me, if this would have been the only movies that came out in that decade, it would have been perfect because I waited 13 years for this because it was in court. Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. And the Tom Holland ones are okay, but nobody ever, and Andrew Garfield, they never did it as well as these two. Me, that's the best comic movies I ever saw, the Tobey Maguire ones.
They are good. We watched them recently. The only thing I miss is you don't really have the good CGI, so there's a lot less web slinging than there is walking around dialogue talking. So.
Yeah, when Batman came out with Nicholson, they wanted to make that, but it was tied up in court. And it hurt to go through the whole 90s and wait for that thing. But I'm glad because it got CGI to develop because there was no way they could have done what they done without it. And I was actually blown away when he was web slinging, especially the second one where he shoots between that 18-wheeler as it's going through the intersection. He goes between the front and back part.
Yeah.
But that was, and hey, Sam Raimi. So you got the legend Bruce Campbell in it. You got that funky yellow car of his that's in every one of his movies. That's the one Uncle Ben drove. That's a Sam Raimi thing. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness is in every Sam Raimi movie. So yeah, the third Spider-Man movie sucked, and that was really the studio putting pressure on him to add in Venom. He didn't want to. Actually, I think and then he wanted to fix it with the fourth because he still says a lot of directors are real. Blah, blah, blah. No, he's like it sucked, and he felt bad about it, and he wanted to tie it up. And Spider-Man 4, he had cool ideas. I've heard some of the stuff, and then they just decided they were wanting to reboot too bad, which was a terrible mistake.
I don't know. It worked out pretty
Andrew
good.
Garfield ones. They were okay. But anyway.
So I will. Serenity is in there, and I like Ron Nicholson saying Serenity now. Good tie into Seinfeld. The Lord of the Rings. I never really got into the books, but I just love that the way the story was told and the way they filmed it all at once, knowing that it was going to carry on. And I think it helps lead to then what Marvel does with Iron Man. Iron Man is on my list. I Am Legend. Again, I love that kind of that apocalyptic feel. And when he's driving through New York with a shepherd and he's hitting golf balls and, kind of going crazy. Gladiator. I love Gladiator. The soundtrack when he's dies at the end, for those that haven't seen it, whoops. And he's walking back, to his farm and his family. And then 300.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love 300. All right, let's get into
Great Monkey King's X. Go out to the BGG file section. My rule book's out there.
What did he say? Let me highlight it. I didn't see it. Here. All right.
And if that's a reference to King's X the band, respect. Love those guys.
Would never lie. I like Judd. So the designer won't cooperate, but you promised, Judd. It's out there. Yeah, you redid it.
Designer's a good guy. I know what's going on there. I'm not obliged to share, but yeah, he's not a jerk. He's a super cool guy. But yeah, I've put it out there. The only one I don't have out there is the Punic Island game, which I recently traded for because I'm just bound to determine I can fix that thing. And usually I don't care to, but this one I do because it's a good game.
Now on this with Mega Man, I've actually read the book. It's a short story, actually, a collection of short stories. And I didn't like Omega Man, but the whole idea is that it's like a new race and they're vampires and, last of humanity kind of thing. I actually enjoyed the remake, I Am Legend, better just because I like that dystopian, New York's empty except for him kind of thing. And I thought they did the tension a lot better. In Omega Man, it was like the vampires were like crazy hippies kind of thing. It was weird. I didn't like it as much, but that's me. To each their own. But let me do a share screen and we will get into our list. Let me work through my tabs here that I
can't find your link to BGG. Did you text that to me? Because I'm not finding it in my geek mail.
Yeah, I remember it being in geek mail. That's usually how I send it, but I am not I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me get into this, and if I have to, I will
go and I'll search around for it. If I look like I'm clueless, it's because I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at my screen.
All right, we should be good now. Whoops, I just scrolled down. So, come on, come back up. All right, Andrew Frank. Great show. He lists his fifth is Wilderness War, 4 Hammer of the Scots, 3 Clash of Heroes, Awakening the Bear. Clash of Heroes. I think he means Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear. Yeah, I'm just saying when I first read that, I thought it's got to be that, or I'm missing some other obscure game that is so close. 2, Here I Stand. 1, Panzer Grenadier East Front. Let me slide on down.
Have you ever played Here I Stand?
No, I haven't. It was one of the I had several things from GMT older, and then I picked that up. My dad being a Lutheran pastor, I thought I've got to see what this is. That's obviously the quote from famous quote from Martin Luther. And I hadn't played it, and I wanted to play it at a con. You got to be kind of prepped and ready, is what I understand. You? Yeah,
that's the thing. I got it. Then I was talking to Boomer down at the thing, and he said, "Yeah, you cannot solo this game, dude." So then immediately it went on my trade list. But I was going to play it at a con until I realized they play for 2 days, and I don't want to spend 2 days playing any game at a con.
Right. Yeah, I know. But I still want to. And it was so I mentioned to my dad, I think I went on. That was the first time I used the P500, if I remember, for GMT. Got the first edition. He ends up passing away, but I said, they're making a game called Here I Stand. And he goes, Martin Luther? And because he's a Lutheran pastor, I go, yeah. He goes, I'll be real interested to see that. And then that didn't happen. Let's see.
At church they had they were doing that. What was it? Like 500th anniversary or whatever of that. And I went up, and a few weeks later, I went up and told Pastor. I said, "Man," I showed her that picture of Here I Stand, and I said, "You probably don't get this one too often, but you actually inspired me to go get a war game."
Yeah, I bet not. Fan bands. Hold the Line, Hammer of the Scots, Twilight Struggle, Cold War, Wilderness War, Combat Commander Pacific. No numbers, and that's fine. He's got all that in. Good, quick list. Let me scroll down more. I see Curiosus there. I think he's got his list further down. I like this. Michael Sundberg did basic training at Fort Lost in the Woods. That's Leonard Wood. He's got a great story here. He arrived from Hawaii in January of 78 in the winter. That is cold up there. That's when I was there. Then went to Fort Sam Houston, just like me, but much earlier for his combat medic school. That's down in San Antonio. Then he goes to the 82nd at Fort Bragg. And then he gets Army Did Me Right for my initial 3-year enlistment. Stretched to 33 years. He became a field artillery officer, followed by becoming an Army doctor. Happy Memorial Day. That was just a cool lineage, so I wanted to include that. Rostamon, 2009, 5, Panzer Grenadier Eastern Front, 4, Combat Commander Europe, 3, Commands and Colors Ancients, 2, Battle Lore, First Edition, me too, brother, me too, 1, World at War, Eisenbach Gap, honorable mention is Twilight Struggle, but I don't consider it a war game. It's a Cold War game. And his go-to game is also from this time, but it's a miniature war game by Games Workshop in 6mm scale, and it is called Epic Armageddon. Now, we'll drift through, but he listed his shows, which we hit a little bit on: Firefly, The West Wing, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Boston Legal. How did I forget that? I love Boston Legal. Battlestar Galactica, the Bourne series, and somebody asked about that. I could not get into the Bourne series.
I've never seen one, any of them.
Yeah, I've seen one of them. $1 Million Baby was great. Borat I did not see. Avatar was good. I liked the whole concept. Lord of the Rings trilogy and Buffalo Soldiers 2001. Very interesting. Let's see. ERMJ 1986, 5, Unhappy King Charles, 4, Age of Napoleon, 3, Empire of the Sun, 2, The Great War in Europe Deluxe GMT. He's got Guderian's Blitzkrieg, 2,
Yep.
Here I Stand, Wilderness Wars honorable mention, and his DAC 2 from MMP is his number 1.
Yeah, the dude's a heavy gamer. I didn't get a chance to go look at the comments. I was curious what he put.
JD 5, Soldier Emperor, 4, No Retreat Russian Front, 3, Target for Today. That's the remake of B-17. 2, Lock and Load, Band of Heroes. 1, Empire of the Sun, very close to making the list, would be in my top 10 as GMT's The U.S. Civil War, Battletech, Peloponnesian War, Wings of Glory, and Panzer Grenadier.
He said that's JD?
Yep.
He just put a comment, JD, respect, Federation, and Empire. Which I ended up trading because I ended up sticking with Federation space instead. But yeah, I agree. Multi-game. Heck, I played Federation Space for 3 months when I was in 8th grade with my misfit youth by myself.
Dianekis, the Spartan. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. He says, I'm obviously missing something. Chief, where's Conflict of Heroes? And I do tell him that is in my Hall of Fame. I shall not mention it, although you know it is there. And then he says he likes the show, or thanks for clearing that up. Thanks for the video. Keep it up, you guys, to be specific. Let's see. Sola Fides was what I was thinking of. We mentioned that in there. Thanks, Han NG. Derek Leader. Let me hit read more. I thought he had his listed. Yeah, there they are. I knew he had them in there. 5, Wings of War, 4, RAF, Battle of Britain, 3, Pacific Victory, Let's see. And then he had a tie, and he says he's cheating. 1B would be Commands and Colors Ancients. 1A is Twilight Struggle. He loves the tension in the game, and he plays it whenever he can. He does, I think you said he has 3 going by play by email all at once right now, which is cool.
Yeah, Tom and I are playing. Tom Knight, he and I are playing. We get on Thursday nights and play live. So, hey, you want to see it? Pop on the Vassal server. It's about 7:30 Eastern time. But he and I are playing in Epics. You know, where you put the 2 maps together.
Yeah.
And we're playing Ancients with that. And that's a whole new trip.
Beautiful.
I played one scenario of it before, but that's a pretty fun way to play that game.
Nice. Matt Chestnut, 5 War of the Ring, 4 Heroescape, 3 Memoir 44, 2 Conflict of Heroes. Awakening the Bear. First is Richard the Third.
Really? The block game?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm trying to juggle that list in my head. I thought, okay, interesting. That's a really pretty game, by the way.
It does. It looks great. It's not really my thing, so I never really, but it did look very nice. Robert Moffat, and he quotes it, and I believe there's a sing-song tone in the year 2000. So he gets it. Laugh out loud. Memoir 44 was his number 1. 2 Wings of War, Wings of Glory. 3 Conflict of Heroes. 4 Combat Commander, the series. 5, I'm assuming, Tide of Iron. Like that list. That's a good list for me. He goes on with some PS, but we'll keep sliding down to get more people here. And Rick Godot. I like saying Godot. 5 Asian Engulfed. 4 Maneuver. 3 Wilderness War. 2 Command and Colors Ancients. 1 Friedrich Maria. A very elegant.
Those of you?
I have not. A very elegant.
Really good. Kind of like Here I Stand. I hear it's one of the best card-driven games ever made.
Yeah, I think I've heard somebody. He says a very elegant design that so nicely captures the war of position for the era. So I liked. I definitely read that and thought, I've seen that before.
Kronos has an interesting comment on the side about Fields of Fire. Have you tried that one?
I think
that's that solo game.
Yeah, a long time ago. I think I did, and I think it's over on my shelf. Didn't they even kind of remake it or fix it up a little bit?
They've tried. What's his name? David Janik Jones. His comment, you just need to read it. It's a scream. He's had that game and traded it so many times. Total love-hate relationship. The game's supposed to be total genius with one of the worst rule books ever written.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Some designers just need to realize their gift is not in explaining things. It's like those professors who think they can explain stuff and the whole class doesn't know. It's like, dude, everybody don't get it. It's you.
Right. But you're right.
That game, I was like, yeah, I'd love to try it, but until I start hearing stuff that somebody fixed that thing really well, I mean, I have to hear it from a lot of people that, okay, yeah. And I've heard the rules to the game are kind of hard to explain anyways. I don't know what that means, but the nature of them, but it's supposed to be just a brilliant, brilliant game. But man, just the rule book, it's like, nah, life's too short to fight with rule books.
No, you're right there. DPSIX. Deep 6. Sorry, it's Deep 6. The capital P threw me. Deep 6. 5, Here I Stand. 4, Hammer of the Scots. 3, CNC Ancients. 2, Conflict of Heroes. 1, Memoir 44. We could hang out, Deep 6.
Have you played Hammer?
I think you showed it to me, and we might have tried something, but I don't think we played the full game. That's my memory. What do you think?
You and I played Crusader Rex, which is one of the children. When they made that game, they took that system and spun it off so many times, it was almost getting the point of it felt like a theme pasted onto a mechanic. That was a pretty darn cool game. Aaron taught that to me. That's first block experience. I never seen anything like it. But then they followed up, and I think I had all of their Hammer clones except Athens and Sparta. And the Eurogamers have this thing called Jones theory, and they said, if I have 10 auction games and I always play this one, why am I keeping these other 9?
Right.
And I do that a lot with a lot of Ameritrash. It's like, Aaron has this. He's the only guy that plays it with me. Why do I need a shelf trophy hogging up space?
I agree
when
with
it came to the Hammer games, I looked at all of them. I settled on Julius Caesar and Texas Glory and traded all the rest of them off.
I agree generally with the Jones theory, although sometimes I like having, like, I love oh my goodness, now I'm gonna get it, worker placement, but sometimes I like the different themes of worker placement. So
yeah, Jones theory is hard for war gamers because, you know, like Market Garden, I have a heavy game, Hell's Highway. I have a light game, Mercury Market Garden. I got a medium game with the Monty's Gamble. I got a plastics game, the Bridge Too Far. So, you know, sometimes some of these battles I'll have various looks at them, but I'm not going to say, oh, a card-driven game. I have Washington's War, get rid of the rest. Nah, because they're all covering different historical topics. They're all widely different just because they share a mechanic. Same with Area Impulse, things like that. But sometimes I do run into a case where that's what happened with Battle Lore. I never play this game because it's so close to Ancients with Magic. I'd just rather play Ancients. But
yeah, I liked with Battle Lore was the like the Earth Elemental and these little monsters that came up.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to do all the collecting to it too, but I did love the Spider.
Yeah,
and the problem is they left too much parts of Ancients out in the mechanics that I liked better in Ancients. And but the Magic was cool. I love that, dealing with the little lore tokens and playing cards and stuff. It felt like it was the first version of their battle cards they ever used.
Yeah, it was supposed to kind of hit on the 100 Years War era too. So it was supposed to kind of be a little bit further along, I believe. Here is Satellite Feed. He's the one that said they don't even begin announcing number 5 until about 20 minutes into the video. That's right, Satellite. That's what hamtaggery is. Hamtaggery is free and loose.
Somebody asked me on the side if on GMT games if we're going to have our favorite movies that begin with the letters GMT. It's like, no.
Yeah, we'll step away. That's a good point. And we'll come out of this. I've actually, let me do a few more and then we'll talk about how much I've loved doing this decades thing. But let me kick a few more of these through. I'm seeing, well, here's Romaine, which is 5, Liberty Roads, 4, Battle Above the Clouds, great. Great Battles of the American Civil War, 3, Triumph of Chaos, 2, Pursuit of Glory, 1, Empire of the Sun. Currently is playing Fields of Fire. Too early to tell if it belongs in there, though, he says.
Man, that Triumph of Chaos, that's interesting. I never played it. Heard it's really good. Heard it got a real bad rule book, and the designer, David, even says, I hate writing rule books.
Well, yeah, he definitely needs to get somebody. He needs
that's
to call Judd.
That's where you need to find somebody who's a big fan of the game and turn them loose on it.
I agree. Let's see. Spearhead 672, 5, Great War at Sea Jutland. 4 is the FAB, the Bulge. 3 is Second World War at Sea Bismarck. 2, Command and Colors Ancients and the expansions. And 1, Ardennes 44, the Battle of the Bulge. That's an interesting list.
That's the Simonish game, I think, right?
I believe so.
That's a good game.
Let's see. Nice mix of games and music. Thank you. A Gray Day. I love that name. A Gray Day Table Games. Totten Sontag?
Totten Sontag. Okay. It's right over there. I had the first version of it. That is a bizarre game. You ought to look at some of the comments on it. I mean, you end up like rolling dice, and who's ever lowest gets to go first, but that's also units with that movement or lower can activate. I think it is. So it's like one die roll does like 2 or 3 things at once, and it's quirky and it's cool, and it's not real deep, but it's a neat little game. They remade it, fortunately, because it used to go through the roof. I ended up getting in a trade, and but yeah, I forget the company that even makes that. But yeah, that's a neat one to check out.
Yeah, that one was way off my radar.
Sometime we have to play that one. You'd really like it. It's one of those really cool light games, you know.
We definitely need to do that. I would mark that down. 2, Warlords of Europe. 3, Maneuver. 4, Julius Caesar. 5, Warriors of God. And then you can see
Julius Caesar actually was 2010. I saw one of those comments. That's the only reason it didn't make my list.
Got it. He missed it.
You ever want a fun exercise? Go out to your collection, go to the stats part on your VGG profile page.
Right.
And then where you can sort your games by publisher, designer, sort them by year, and look at 2010. 2010 was just one of the most amazing games for years ever. You could easily do a top 5 on that year alone.
Yeah, I've done that before, just looking at what are the hot years that I've enjoyed the most. Let's see. Here is Matt Curiosities presenting the Greeks list, is what he calls it. 5 General Quarters, 3rd edition. 4 Wings of War, especially with the minis. 3 Combat Commander Europe. 2 Arduous Beginning / Target Leningrad / Objective Kiev. It is pronounced with one. Is it pronounced with 1 or 2 syllables? Kiev is how I do it.
Yeah, I believe it's 2.
Yeah. Let's see. And then honorable mention. Where's his 1? Oh, way down there. I see it. Honorable mentions, Axis and Allies, Command of Colors, Ancients, Twilight Struggle, Conflict of Heroes. Number 1 is Memoir 44. Way to go, Matt.
Man, lots of love for Memoir and Combat Commander and CNC.
There's Tom Knight. So let's get that in here. We're going to do 4 more-ish. I think a bunch came in, but then we'll get back here. Let's see. Another great episode, guys. 5 Julius Caesar, Columbia Games. Sword of Rome, GMT, Twilight Struggle, of course, GMT. Command of Colors, Ancients, same. And Here I Stand, GMT. And yes, Judd, it was a great finish to the series of Expansion 1 games, but there will be a rematch. So that was cool. I like that message that came in. Let's see. Forrest Cole. 5 Blood of Noble Men. 4 Texas Glory. 3 Hold the Line. 2 Tide of Iron. 1 Twilight Struggle. You can see some themes repeat.
Texas Glory, it's good to see that game get some love. That's pretty cool little game.
Very cool. Brian Jarvis. The Caucasus Campaign, 2009. Combat Commander Europe. Ancients, CNC. 2 A Victory Denied, and 1 ASL starter kits 1, 2, and 3, which came out in 04, 05, and what I should say is 07. I just like saying it that way. All right, one more.
Was that Victory Denied or Victory Lost?
I think denied. Let me go back.
I can't see your screen.
Yeah, it's a Victory Denied.
Okay. Can't remember if that's the one that Greg talked up a lot or if it was Lost. One of those he talked up quite a bit.
I do remember him talking it up, but I cannot recall of which either. Let's see. I'm going to look for one more. Well, Sean Thompson comments a lot. Let me see. Yeah, he's got it, but he's only got 3. So we'll maybe look for one more after this. Twilight Struggle, Memoir 44, Tide of Iron was number 1. He does a great list on his music, so go look at that if you wish, and his TV shows and movies. And we will end with Uwe Beck, who also did nose art for the B-17 Hamtagery, which I am flying with a crew of Patreon supporters. So we're going to get Uwe Beck's list in here. 5, not a game, but Board Game Geek was discovered in 2000. Best support site ever. I concur. I like that. It's definitely a heck of a resource and fun. 4, Memoir 44, and the expansions. 3, Arkham Horror First Edition. Too much stuff in there for me. I played it at a con, and I did not enjoy it, but I own it, and I need to get rid of it. Battlestar Galactica, the board game. I think 2006 or whenever I was at a con, I met Bixby there. Matt Robertson. I think it's Robertson. I always call him Bixby. I was a Cylon in my very first game, loved it. And then there was a group of cops I introduced it to. Judd, you were in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And they've gamed it so much, they wouldn't keep the Cylon thing secret. They would come out right away.
Don't tell other people. Don't tell them how to break the game.
Well, I think people have figured that out. I didn't think it worked. I thought it ruined the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I commented on it. I said I played it, loved it all the way up until a group of guys learned how to break it. I said now I just find different guys to play. I have it. I got it again, but I never played it since then. But I would play it just with people who don't know how to break it, because if you play it in its normal way, and you might even have to spot the humans a couple of resources just to balance it.
Well, I didn't think it broke it. I think because they knew that was the optimum way to play was certain Cylons. You want to come out early. What it did was it was how the Cylons were going to win, but it took all that hidden traitor tension away.
Yeah, without that, it's very dull because the mechanics of it aren't interesting.
Yes.
It's just the mechanics are interesting for a turn. The mechanics are boring for 2 or 3 hours. It's the table talk and I am not a Cylon. He's a Cylon, and he's screwing you over because he knows he's a Cylon and you're not. And, that's the best part of that game.
100%. 100%. That's the best part of the game. I put Boomer in the brig once and he was not a Cylon, but he said, fine, put me in the brig. And he didn't defend. I'm like, you're a Cylon. He was not. He hates that game because I brigged him.
I forget the guy. He was one of your buddies, and you introduced him to him.
Casey Slaughter, Brent Johnson.
Bingo. He was sitting between you and I, and he was the president.
Oh yeah,
guy's full of Cylon Raiders and all this stuff. I'm Starbuck. Turns out he's a Cylon. I'm a Cylon, and he has all these moves because he had managed to get hold of the presidency and the admiralship.
Yeah,
he has nukes, all this cool stuff he could do. And he throws me in the brig, and I'm ready to hop into Viper. I have to hop into Viper because otherwise I'd be revealing myself. When you're Starbuck, you got to go fight. And I just looked at him and I said, dude, if you're not a Cylon, you sure are helping them out a lot. Because everybody was just dumbfounded. He goes, I just don't trust you, man. And at the end, that was just so classic because somebody played the face-up cards, and it mattered to if they lost it all, and I was the last person. So when it got to me, I said, well, I have 2 things for y'all. I said, number 1, I'm the other Cylon. Number 2, y'all just lost the game, and I threw my cards down.
I remember. Yeah.
But man, the table talk in that game is just legendary.
It is.
Keep the Cylons hidden. There ought to be some mega – if you out a Cylon in a certain point of the game, it's a very negative – they need to have something in there built in to keep them from doing that.
Yeah, I know they'd played so much. When I first taught it to them, I think you were even there. They were like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" And then they were playing. They would call me and go, "Hey, it's Friday. Come over." I'm like, "I'm feeding a small child. I can't just come over." They're all single. I was like, "I'm envious. Quit calling me and telling me you got a great game planned." And they're like, "We have beer," and I'm like, "Shut up."
That game we played. My whole trick on that was that I had played. They have a solitaire way of playing that. It's not very good, but it will teach you how to play it well. So I would sit there and watch people discuss, and I knew a better plan. Whenever somebody points out a stupid idea, that's usually a sign they're a Cylon. But I would go along like, yeah, that is a pretty good idea. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, there's a way better thing you could be doing, but I'm not sharing that. So I just roll along so it kept people off my back. And I was just playing a non-optimized game. But I remember the first thing I threw out a red card just to be a stinker. And the 2 Destiny deck cards were both red. So right away they go, we've got a Cylon in our midst. And fortunately, people weren't slick enough on the game to figure out that I was the only person that could have played a red card.
Ooh, they should have figured that out.
Because I was Starbuck. And I was like, yeah, I better not goof around anymore.
Yeah.
You got onto me pretty quick that you kept thinking. Then I finally talked you out of it that I wasn't a Cylon.
That's what's awesome with the game.
Sorry, we can go on all day about that crazy game.
Right now, JD here, he's at Origins Con. He had the pleasure to meet and talk at length with Richard Hatch from the original Battlestar, and
he was Tom Zarek.
Yeah, he played Apollo in the first one. Yeah, I remember as a kid, my sister-in-law, I always loved it. The name Richard Hatch and Dirk Benedict just are so odd. We were always like, are those stage names? They've got to be, but they were like Dirk Benedict. Who comes up?
Benedict screwed up by bickering about, whining about that show all the time. He'd have been pretty cool to have in there some supporting character.
Oh, if he would have come on as like some old hand at a Viper or something like that.
Yeah. Oh. Boy, that guy, the guy at the end of that show, who plays the lawyer who defends Baltar.
Yes.
Hey, who's Aaron's guy? Mark, what's his name?
Judd is phoning a friend right now. He's phoning a friend.
She got headphones on. Anyways, I forget that actor's name. Man, my daughter, she flipped when she saw him because I guess he's in Supernatural. That's her show. Mark, I can't remember his name. But anyways, then he was in a Bird Notice. I called her down so she could watch him.
Here we got a lifeline.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we rolled through.
With her headphones on, my wife, so the kids are all asleep, but I can't remember his last name. But anyways, yeah, he was awesome.
Asleep. They're still asleep at 10:50.
Oh, my kids, man, they gripe at me because I wake them up at 11:59. I said, you got to get up in the morning at least. So I kid them that they're belly aching at me for waking them up 11:59. I said, the struggle is real, man.
That's right. Well, they're very cool. So let's talk a little bit about one. We've just finished what I found to be a very enjoyable run of doing the best war games by the decade, including music and movies and TV shows. It was taking me back in time each time we did it. Do you concur? Yeah.
And he was bagger on Firefly, Lord Job V131. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, cool. He played bagger on Fire. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just found this so enjoyable that I was like, man, I wish we could continue this list. But obviously,
the 60s aren't worth it. There's just not that many great games. They were good for their time, but they didn't age well.
Yeah, no, we've covered it, and it's good. And so Judd and I were talking a little bit before we went live. I think for my purposes, we're going to take next Saturday off. I need to actually catch up on several videos. I think I'm even going to take a day off from work to try to catch up. Excuse me. I'm also doing my B-17 games with my supporters. I'm loving that, and I want to make sure I get some more of those in. But we will, so not next Saturday live, but we will plan on the following Saturday. So what does that make it, Judd? I know it won't be the 6th of June. It'll be the 12th. No, 13th. But I think
the first is a Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
6, 7, 13.
Okay. So on the 13th, 10 a.m., we will come on. We will be live in our own individual homes, and we will be doing our top 5 favorite GMT games. What we're going to do is a series. It looks like we're going to do it at this point in time, a series of publishers. So we're going to work through different publishers. Now, you got to know coming in, we can't hit every publisher. I've got a lot of games, more than I can play, but I do not have 5 from every single war game publisher.
I'll tell you right up front, I do not have 5 from MMP, and I know they're popular.
Yes, what I was thinking.
Games, and I had Lincoln's War, Trade of Lincoln's War.
So, Judd, live here, we can sort this out. I know we've talked about several that we could do, and then we may, when we figure we've gotten to, hey, we can't really do an individual one anymore, why don't we put together what we call like a mixed bag, and we can just throw in, hey, I love this one from MMP, or hey, I love this one from X, or whatever. What do you think of that?
Cool top 5 from people we haven't covered.
Right. So the companies we haven't covered will have a mixed bag, top 5 mixed bag from publishers we haven't covered, and that'll allow us to get them in.
There's a lot of folks saying SPI. Can you do SPI/TSR/Decision Games, because they kept getting bought out by people?
I think so, if we include West End, which I think was bought out by TSR. So TSR bought out West End Games, and I have a lot of West End games, if I'm remembering the genealogy of buyouts. So what's weird is that'll be part of the weird thing of doing these. So we'll work these out one at a time. We're definitely doing GMT. I think we're going to continue this where the following Saturday we can go live and do the fans' favorite GMT. I like getting the fans in here. I know they don't get as many views as our list, but I like having the fans in. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Good. So we'll do that, and I'll maybe figure something that'll spice that up a little bit. I don't know how to do that. Just kind of like setting the stage with the publisher as well. So we've announced that June 13th, 10 a.m. We will do GMT, top 5 games from GMT, and then we'll look at some other publishers as we move along. But
that gives folks to do the homework in the meantime. Think about the first GMT game you bought and you played, and the latest one you bought and you played.
Yes. So definitely, because we're going to include that as well, almost like an honorable mention, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll have our top 5, and then we'll include our very first one from the named publisher.
And if you can.
Yes, if we can, and our most recent purchase. So they may not be in our top 5, but that way they're almost like an honorable mention. I love that idea. We'll definitely have that in as well, Judd. Let's see what some of the hold on. Here's a funny one. I like this. Oh, I just missed it. I went to hit it and it jumped. Uva, no Hasbro.
I only have one Hasbro game, and that was the Battle Cry, the one that
I might have two. I'd have to look. Shadow Lords, I loved as a kid. It's funny. I went and repurchased it because I thought I got rid of it. Then I found a box, and now I got 2 Shadow Lords. It was like a space game with. I liked it. It was very fun, and I could get.
Wait, I guess I have Nexus Ops too. I got confused. Yeah, they tried to slap the Avalon Hill label.
We may do Hasbro.
That is wrong.
We may do a Hasbro Uva. We may do it just to spite you. No,
dude, I don't think I can.
I know. I don't think I could either. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Hey, Trevor Just is in. Look at this. He's saying, "Hey guys, I like that." Let's see. We could combine small publishers into one. You could combine small publishers. We could. Maybe we'll do a couple mixed bags. I don't know. We'll play with that. We got room. We're approaching that. We've kind of kicked around. Off the top of my head, know we could probably do 5 or 6 different publishers.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to refine that as we go. And when we get to the end of what we think we could do as a single publisher, we will come up with something that will work as a mixed bag. Here's an interesting one. Top 5 mistakes war games. I don't know. Some people do like when there's a negative topic. So
that biggest mistake, I guess it's kind of subjective what you think, or
it would be. Yeah, it would be
your 5 biggest mistakes that you ever got, or
I don't know, the 5 worst buys, maybe, or I don't know. I probably got more than I don't know. But we're going to be busy for a while with this list. I like that when we have like a grouping that we can work off of. I find that mentally pleasing. Maybe it's because I'm simple. I don't know. Top 5 from game companies. What is this? Top 5 from game companies that use 3 initials. Yeah.
BPG,
yes.
SPI, GMT. Right. I was trying to think who else. Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. That old company that went under. GDW.
Of course you've got the 2 initials, 3M, AH. I don't know. GDW, Matt Chestnut. One mistake backing up front on Kickstarter. Yeah, I did that. That was fun. Life happens. Do old Avalon Hill separate from newer Avalon Hill Hasbro?
There will be no new Avalon Hill on any of mine because I don't even know if my Nexus Ops has. Yeah, that has the Avalon Hill. I guess that's the only new one, and I don't. It's so non-Avalon Hill. I don't even think of it as that.
There you go.
I love Nexus, but that goes against pretty much everything Avalon Hill stood for.
All right. Hey, let's call it. We're at 58 minutes. Anything you wanted to add, Judd? Or wait, well, we were going to go into the BGG list, but there weren't too many there, actually, because you want to go look at it or no? Did you have a chance to?
Yeah, I found it. There's 3.
Why don't you pop in, take a look at it?
Actually, no, he only has 2. Here I Stand, Sword of Rome. Okay, The Rise of the Roman Republic by Richard Berg. War of the States, Chickamauga and Chattanooga.
Who is this?
Avalanche Press in there. I've been seeing Monmouth. What am I talking like a hillbilly? I've been to Monmouth. Battle of the American Revolution series from GMT. Liberty Roads and RAF.
Who listed?
And I guess Matt's already put his on the other list.
Right. Who are you reading off there? Who was that?
Oh, the one that I had with that was David Wood.
All right, and then the other ones are repeats from the actual YouTube channel.
Yeah, just don't go to Monmouth; it'll kind of ruin the game for you. Once I really started studying that battle, I realized the rules will not allow you to recreate the battle. It's just impossible. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of a fail. But I held on to the game because it has a lot of sentimental value. But
Or
yeah, the artillery range will not allow you to put your artillery on Combs Hill and enfilade, is that the word? The enemy position like they did.
Enfilade, yes.
But as far as a game, if you throw that out, it's probably the best one in the series. All this random stuff can happen at the beginning that just makes it crazy. Because they had such a command problem at the beginning of it. Your troops might counter march on you. You never know what's going to happen. So
cool. All right.
I geek out. You got American Revolution.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I've been getting into the American Revolution or that. Well, I'm reading. I love reading the histories of folks. You know, I'm reading Saratoga. That's still on there. But then I found this old book. It was I don't know. I think it came out in the 60s. A hardback that's Franklin's autobiography. So I was reading that.
Oh yeah.
And I just love.
It's hidden. I can't see it. Otherwise, I know what you're talking about. I got it over there.
Yeah, I just love the. I love the era. So cool.
This is the thing I'm reading. Remember those old time life books?
Of course.
Yeah. My dad got me one. Just found it at a used bookstore on island hopping, and it stopped short of the Philippines. And I'm sitting there saying, "Ooh, I covered the Philippines." Well, my wife got me this on my birthday, so I realized, yeah, the Philippines is pretty much a topic unto itself, and I'm about finished with it. And then she got me there's like 3 on the Soviet front, and it's the last one. I thought I'd do a little research before jumped into Russia in 1944.
Beautiful.
And I'm gonna write an article. Mark had asked me if I wanted to write an article on strategy for France 1944 for C3I.
How's he doing, by the way, since he's right in New York and Manhattan with all this COVID?
Oh, COVID's afraid of Mark Ehrman.
Now that's good. I should have known that was coming. I didn't expect that. Yeah.
No, he's doing good. I've dropped him a line, asked him how things are going back in the thick of that. What's funny was, did I want to write an article on? And so my daughter likes to edit papers at school, and I've been trying to turn her into an entrepreneur, saying you need to make money off these kids, man. And so I told her I'd pay her $20 if she'd edit my paper, because I said you need to get practice at editing things that you will find incredibly boring, because she's wondering if there's any career future possibilities, but she's so good at math and science right now, the whole world's open. And I told her, you're not always going to get to edit J.K. Rowling books or whatever.
Right.
But I kidded when Mark and I was writing that France 1944 rule book. I said we should let her proof it, but it'll just bleed red. You know that thing about what they say when the junior beats dad in driveway basketball?
Right.
I was always pretty good at grammar in college. I could whip all the other engineers. My daughter surpassed me about a year or 2 ago.
Woo. And I want to practice. I want to say cavalry charge, because I need to practice saying it correctly. Cavalry charge. I know it says cav charge, but I need to practice it. You're doing way better than I am. I keep saying it wrong. I'm not even going to practice saying it wrong.
Focus on the first 3 letters, because you always see them abbreviated. That's the trick. Then you go cavalry.
Right.
It pulls the L out of the beginning.
Cavalry. My helmet for a pillow. Great read. Pacific War. Cool. Are you ready to wrap up this round of HAMTAGery, Judd?
Yep.
Excellent. Let's get Great Monkey King X to be the last topic in there. He's a great commenter. Thank you, Great Monkey King X.
Great campaign. Right. Oh, okay. Yep. Sorry, I thought he was talking about great battles.
Nope.
Yeah, I traded my great campaigns. I had a couple of them, but I just didn't. I was trying to focus on what I have, and I just did not have the stomach to take on another series. But the great battles, I played Wilson's Creek, since that's just right down the road, 4 hours away from us. But I've been to that battle site, so that's a pretty cool game.
Cool. All right. Well, enjoy your games, and always enjoy a little bit of HAMTAGery.
Yep.
All right. See you guys. We are out.
All righty.
Woo.